Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you guys been doing? It's your boys in here. And today, I was given this post that I really wanted to read, and I'm gonna use the word that I really never really used on this channel, but I was a little bit triggered. I guess there was a lot of things to talk about this specific post, and what I feel people have it upside down, the mentality of a human behavior and how it is. I'm gonna speak from my own personal experience. This is gonna come down from the deepest pits of whatever is inside of me and put it outside. I have sometimes, and for the warm heart I have sometimes as well. I definitely want to talk about this. So basically there's a post that goes as followed: to my future husband, this is what I will pass through. Sad face emoji, tears, just to make you proud. To have kids, oh my gosh, this is what women go through just to prove themselves worthy of womanhood. And then sad face a bit. And then husband to be and their husband to be a man 100%. Yet those foolish drunken husbands maltreat, molest and insult women. There is a woman and there is a married woman emoji next to it. They take them like slave rags. Please, let's celebrate women. You can apologize. You can apologize as well. Women deserve the best. Apologize as well, right? Just wait. Let me go into this, because I really don't understand where the people think apologizing is necessary here. It's not easy. One word for women. What we do bring all the Ghana burgers. I'm not too sure what she's talking about at the end. It's actually a little bit of a different language. Wheelbarrow pushes. Oh yeah, and then she's got pictures of a baby being, a birth of a baby. And I personally believe, like, looking at this, they're beautiful pictures. It's basically life being put outside, and it's a basic procedure of a woman in hospital giving birth, and it's beautiful sight. Of course, I was never really first sight seeing this kind of things, but judging by the pictures, it is life circle. Now here's the thing that really a little bit triggers. First of all, people say you can apologize as well, and yet a person has to ask themselves, who are they apologizing to? Because everybody is their own human being. When you hit 18, you're responsible for your own actions. And for me personally, for my own personal life, that I look back, I would feel responsible, not hitting 18, but you know how it works. By country standards, on the specific age you hit, you are responsible for your own actions. Here's a problem. Yes, men can be terrible. I've heard in most situations, every third woman is a victim to sexual harassment. And I consider that men, like those men that are in any way, shape or form victimizing women, and they are the responsible one of sexual harassing them, for me, those are weak men. And I will be honest, like, being called a weak man, for me, saying it to anyone, is the worst slander I can give to a man. Weak man is the worst slander I can give. There is no other I can tell him assholes, dick, or anything. Or he's got a small dick, anything stupid like that. But the biggest slander you can give to a man is by calling him weak. And I'm gonna call that guy weak, because he is a weak guy, a sissy guy, basically, in my eyes. So I don't agree with those people. Of course I don't. Why would I agree with somebody completely destroying a human mentality? Because a lot of people will get completely, their ideas will get upside down. They have expectations that reach out without realizing it. This post also has respect women down there, 100%. Respect women as much as respect men. Every respect out there has to be earned. It's not something you just get by being a specific gender. Like saying women, which specific women are we talking about here? Because we cannot say everyone, because we don't know everyone. I don't know these people. So how can I respect somebody's name and somebody's visual that I didn't see and have a conversation? I didn't even see what kind of person they are. Like, should I respect a gold digger, for example, of a woman that's a gold digger, that's got a man that only for money, you know, and some women that actually marry guys just to take all their money in there. Now those guys have nothing. Should I respect them as well? Because by saying women, you put them all into one box. I'm gonna respect humankind. Humankind, people that I had contact with, humankind, people that I saw on the internet doing great things by being true to themselves, by being themselves, and just, you know, for the bad, for the good, actually expressing. Those people I respect. It doesn't take a lot for me to respect somebody. All it takes is just being a good person. That's all. And a good person for me personally is a person you can see they reach their, you know, in some cases some body language behaviors. Everybody is insecure in some moments. Everybody's insecure more or less, but they don't have problems showcasing that they're insecure by actually expressing. They don't have to play tough to get somewhere. They're just being themselves, and I respect that. You know, in my life that I looked onto as I'm 30 years old. For most of my life that I can remember, I was protecting two females. One of them was my mother, and a second of them was my sister. I was living with basically, well, I was living with a brute which practices I've grown habits from. You know, at some point in life, I grow habits for myself to gain his habits. I was called worse. Did I feel good and proud of myself? Did I feel great about myself? No, I felt terrible about myself. I felt, as I am right now, I'm weak, and I don't deserve anyone. I was being self-hateful. I wasn't feeling depressed as much as I was feeling down. You know, as I'm a person, I never really experienced depression as much as experiencing mood swings or just general the lack of motivation, but still feeling content with life, as in living a life and being really just, how do we say, you know, happy to exist in this life. And I was slandered down as well. I was slandered down by the same people that I protected. You know, I was protected back in the days. The biggest fear I could have as a child that loved his mother is to see a man, a father, beat your own mother in front of you. There is no greater fear than seeing that when you're a kid, when you're full of, you know, when you're full of fantasy and all this stuff you can escape from. And yet this is the one thing you have to see when you have somebody being a drunk in your house. And over the years, the same people you protect will slander you down, will tell you you're nobody. And you will have moments that you will believe, because you know, those are important people to you, and because they're important people to you, their opinion, their even hatred that is spread will influence you, because you give them a lot of benefit of the doubt, if that is the right way of saying it. You will see is something important. Whatever they say will maybe even sometimes feel as it has to be real, it has to be right. Whatever they say has to be right. And yet in those moments you aren't being true to yourself, you aren't being expressive, you aren't being accepted of your own self. Every man and every woman will make mistakes. We aren't perfect. We aren't. And those men that treat you bad, those men that sexually harass you, those men that raped, are weak men. Those men are not the other man. That other man may have other things inside his head, much more cleaner, and he may be a very good guy. You know, he may be really true to himself, and he will also express all of his emotions. And here's another factor. People believe that repressing, as a man that lived with a father that was a brute. I mean, I had myself being strangled at some point. I was being threatened with a knife. I was in a moments where, you know, I was fighting my father, not in, you know, this, but I was basically grabbing him a lot and just energy draining him as I could, like completely energy draining him, you know, basically because I felt I had to do something. Of course, self-defense has to be it, and that was my it. I wasn't the person to be shying away from a fight like that. I would stand my ground because I was a person like that. Of course, I also have his genes and my mother's genes. Some people could say angry genes. But I also love life, and I also love people, and also respect, and I'm attracted to the good people, to the good energy, to the people that accept their past and know they're worthy. You know, they are as much worth as they feel they are worth. As much as, you know, positive attracts positive, as negative will attract negative. I myself, looking onto this stuff, I'm not saying that, those people, as I mentioned, can leave scars. And my mother is a good example of this. She had moments where she was scared of men. She was distrusted of men because one man was really bad to her. She felt all men, or a majority of men, are like this. Every bad thing that was said was turned from a mouse to an elephant. And that is a psychological problem. Just because the gender is specifically different than yours makes a big tiny mistake, or has something wrong, or maybe trying to make a debate, and yet because it's that gender, from a mouse becomes an elephant of a problem just because it's that gender. If that gender was different, if that gender was equal, that gender was female to female, it would never become an elephant. That means that there's some sort of gap in gender issue, gender problem. And a lot of times these kind of things tend to root, the very core foundation tends to root from being mistreated by that specific gender. Whether that being their mother that mistreated their sons. Because my father, for example, he was very mistreated by his mother. And he was very mistreated by his sister as well. They both completely destroy him mentally at some point. And yet he completely started to embrace that and adapt and continue that circle. He never accepted his past. He never could allow himself to be that person that he could be. Because while he was a brute to my mother, and as I mentioned before, I was being threatened a lot. Even nowadays, I can tell to my father, and while he doesn't really care about me, to be honest, he really doesn't. Even the things that are happening right now, I'm in a relationship, I may be going to another country to live in another country next year. He doesn't care about that. And that saddens me. Actually, that saddens me a lot, considering how bad he was with me. Why does that sadden me? Because part of me will always care about him, because he is my father. He is the reason of my existence. Without him, I would not be alive. And the same thing can be said about my mother. And I'm with my mother. Deep down, even the moments I was the worst person ever, even the moments that I was the brute, that the person that my father could say I grow habits from the place that I was in, the madman. But I will never be proud of those moments. Those moments are not strong. The strong man will know his ground, and the strong man will keep on learning in life. He will have good self-control. I could say I have much better, much stronger self-control than I ever had in the past. All I can say is that don't allow yourself to be triggered this easily. While this post is a good trigger for this kind of video, just saying that respect, earning respect, it starts from within. You have to earn your own respect. And for me personally, people that are nice, they're good, and they can actually express all emotions are respect worthy to me. Because there is also one troubling thing that in society nowadays that I can also say could be true. There is one emotion that is being repressed by men that had a very hard time, hard life, that had to be angry, that had to truly use their aggression, their essence of power, because aggression is an incredible emotion. If you're in with a man that got all this emotion balance, and you got a debate with him, and he really starts to hunger, that actually sees somebody of his person he cares about being used against him, that person will not budge for a second, man. That person will stand his ground for what he believes in. And aggression is one of those emotions that will stand him up. And I'm not talking aggression like just go beating people up. No, aggression inside himself, just using it to his own advantage. Not looking people evil and I'm gonna kill you. No, I'm talking about stableness. That is complete power. It is an incredible emotion. It's an incredible power, and most men, of course, stereotype or not, will tend to be up there with physical pressure of being more aggressive than women. Of course, more testosterones and then estrogens, of course, hormonal balance and how biology works. All of this stuff are scientifically proven, and they should never be repressed. Those men that beat women are wimps. Those are weak men. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about life and how you should never repress that. I'm not, aggression as a stableness. That's what I'm talking about here, because as me, for example, looking onto life, men believe because their father was a brute or use aggression a lot, they themselves should never out of any circumstance use it or be aggressive or be angry. Even angry emotion, of course, this is all angry emotion, should ever be expressed. This goes especially for loved ones, because all of them will collide. Everything will bounce down, will just fall. Love is love. You love through hell, you love from good. You love in all balance of life. Everything has to be collided. True love will stand and it will survive any kind of storm, as long as the people suffer inside knowing they did it wrong. Because it's psychology, the worst people are the ones that beat people up and they feel great about themselves. Those are the ones that get, some even psychopaths will get fucking erections from that shit. Like pedophile will get erection from hugging a little kid or something like that. Just complete opposite of what a good man would be. A good man will still have moments that he's angry. A good man will still be able to showcase his strength, his emotions, his full arsenal of emotions, sadness, tears. You will see him in tears if he trusts you enough. He will show you his weakest moments. He will show you his greatest moments, and he will show you his most terrifying moments. There is no emotion that has to be repressed, and it should never be repressed. Because, as I mentioned, men that lived in a terrible lifehood where a man, was bad towards a woman, a mother, they believe that they will never be like their father. They would never out of any circumstance showcase this emotion. And that will destroy them inside out. Be true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, genetics also play a role. It's about us having self-control, to be strong, to be able to control ourselves. But we also must not allow ourselves to be manipulated and completely destroyed. And self-repressed because of how we feel this is bad. Because society tells you completely everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be nice. Everybody has to be this, plus. But there is no minus. There is no minus. So when did it stop? True love will go from rough to the most beautiful moments. And psychology, man, it's not as easy as to just say, everything has to be perfect for it to be true or not. Everybody has to fight their own demons. Some people have support, some others just don't have that much support. Like me, for example, I got support from my mother regarding my relationship right now. If I go live in another country, and I'm just saying that it really means a lot. But I also don't got, this kind of support from my father, for example, which really just feels like I don't even exist, as an example. Will I try to hold on to the past? I'm going to try to learn from it, but not as in impressing myself and saying all he did was wrong, because he also had some good traits that maybe some people wouldn't able to see. For example, he loved animals. All the things that he watched on the TV was animal programs for a reason, clearly. And he was a very intelligent man when he was sober. It was when he was drinking that he was really fucked up, Which is funny, because when I drink in some occasions, I tend to become kind of a goofball, actually. Just have some fun, just have some fun. So alcohol doesn't really make me come out as that kind of man that my father was. Then again, my mother, when she drinks, she becomes very sensitive and just a person that will annoy you. Just really trying to find ways to make you actually she becomes a little bit more depressive to a degree which is weird. How alcohol affects people. Some people become depressed. Some people become angry. Some people become, just all for fun, just funny and all. I seem to have the third, or at least from because I was at home under that stage, and I was also outside under that stage at some points. Well, I'm not a drunker. I don't drink. I'm not an alcoholic. I mean, I drink when occasion with friends, but it's not something I have to like grow attached to or anything like that. But I got other addictions like computers, for example, that I tend to be in social with other people. But you know how it is. We all have our own addictions and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to say, respect. Respect is something that has to be earned inside. Be true to yourself, and you don't even have to seek it because it will come to you. I'm really glad to be able to attract only the best women I can attract right now. My girlfriend that I'm with, we are currently in a long distance relationship. She's just about everything that I've been looking in a woman, and she's got her ups and downs as well, and that is completely fine. That is great, because if I would look at her and say she's got all this and this, she's perfect, even the word perfect that I really don't want to use anymore in my life because it's so mental. It is so mental how people use the word perfect. But if that was the case, then it would be very, very, very bad. Like, you want to see other people, you love the other people for their good, for their bad, for their flaws, for their... You appreciate the person as a whole. And I want to be treated, in a way, as they say, you want to treat it as you treat others, depending on how you feel as well at that moment. But I'm really happy with the people that I attract, from my friends to, from the girls that I attract, and all I can say is that I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right, and part of it is that I allow myself nowadays be more of a goofball than I ever was before, and especially with the girl that I'm with, I feel it's very important, and I couldn't be happier. Even as I'm alone right now, still waiting for us to meet in real life. It is what it is, but I got my traits, I got my arsenal of things. Loyalty and honesty and not being able to lie to a person I care about is one of them. I think it's very important. But also I'm very stubborn. I also have hard time sometimes to take other people's opinions and be more true than mine, or trying to, I'm an understanding person, but I eventually tend to understand it, but I can be very hard-headed at times. I also got ego at moments. Higher than I would want it to be, but it's semi-insecurities at moments that I have, so that's who I am, and I have to keep on building myself for who I want to be and who I want to keep on staying to be. Just because I'm, like, for example, I'm a man and I was being mistreated doesn't mean that everybody should respect me now, like other people believe that every, like, a specific gender. Respect yourself first, then don't even seek respect. Respect will come to you, because people will always have a reason to respect you. If you will seek respect believing that you don't have to even showcase it to a degree, then you're just having expectations, and expectations will make you fall down. It will make you miserable. Don't have expectations. The only expectations you can give is yourself, to yourself, and that's it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I pretty much covered most of the majority of things that I really wanted to talk about. It wasn't really about this post as much as the person, talking about bad men that the person had, and mistreating and insulting women. Insulting humanity is the case. Everybody's been insulted. I was the victim of abusive father, for example. I was a victim. I was being choked, dude. Seriously. Like, it's not like I allowed him, because then I overpower him. Clearly, I overpowered him. But thing is, I'm not gonna go around posting things like this and say respect men, because it's not that simple. You have to understand psychology to a degree, at least. I believe. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong or anything. I just believe this, and these are my opinions about this. These are my shares about this. Whether or not you agree with this or not, it's completely up to you. And we all think different. We're all a completely different person. But one bad person doesn't speak for others. One bad person should never be the one to have completely control over another person and completely fucking them up. You know, one weak man shouldn't destroy a woman and thinking that the other men are bad. Because other men should not be responsible or held responsible or guilty in charge for anything that other men did. Because then, for me, that is a weak woman. That is actually a weak woman. You know, that man was physical towards her, and yet that woman is mentally weak towards that other good man that never did anything wrong towards her. And wrong things will happen eventually from one side or another. This is how love works. Nothing will be cotton candy. Eventually something will happen and love will have to prevail. So, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I was trying to be as real as I can regarding this topic, how I look onto it. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Thank you much again, and see you guys next time. Take care of yourself. Peace.